How we doing? I just wanted to do a brief video on authority and what authority really is, where it comes from, what does it mean? And I start by asking you all the question: who is the highest authority in your life? So just have a ponder on that for a moment. Who is it, or what is it? So basically, if you pick up a pen, you get some paper, and you start writing some words, you start creating a story. That makes you the author. Yeah? The author is the one who's directing the story, creating the characters, writing the script. So, to be the author is to be the authority. To be truly authentic to who you are is to write your own story, is to own every part of it, is to own who you are, own who you were, and own who you are choosing to be. I don't know if own's the right word though. I mean, it's to be it. We can't really own anything. To suggest we own it means we take it with us wherever we go, and yet when we leave this earthly realm, we can't take it with us. We can only take what's here in our hearts. So I would suggest that you are your highest authority. We could take it another step further and we could say that God or the Creator is the highest authority. Now, on the highest level, at least in my perception, I would say that on that highest level, I am the creator, but then who am I? So there's this earthly embodiment that, people know as Chris. I know as Chris, and many other names. And then there's this higher self, this higher heightened awareness of self. And what I'm coming to learn is to stand in my authority as the author of my story, to be truly authentic as to who I am, who I've been, and who I wish to become, is to bring in that higher self-awareness, which I would suggest is 5D, fifth dimensional awareness, where our thoughts manifest our reality, where we are owning what is manifesting within our reality. And just as a suggestion, I would potentially say this is what we are experiencing right now collectively. That all the aspects of self as an individual and all the aspects of self as a collective, as a family group, as on a bloodline level, and on as a family group on a soul level, on a community level, on a global level, on a political level, on all the levels. The aspects of ourself that we have not yet claimed, that we have not owned, that we are even in denial of, are being shaken up and brought to the surface to be seen, to be acknowledged, to be heard, to be forgiven, to be loved. And you know what? To be rewritten into the story to no longer exist because they no longer need to exist. They serve until they no longer need to serve. And so this is why we're seeing so much corruption being shaken up on the planet at this point in time, in my opinion. And so through my perspective of my reality, from my story, my perspective of this character, the higher self writing this script, this is what I'm at this point able to perceive. And I'm always open to shift. I'm always open to change this. The moment we lock in a belief of something, of anything, we subscribe to that, and we actually restrict ourselves from growing past that. So it's like we don't actually have to do anything other than just be who we really are. And who we are is all forever shifting and changing and transforming in every single moment. And yet we tell ourselves these stories of comfort, of like, I am this person, I am this. We identify with a job title, for example. I am a doctor, or I am a nurse, or I am a politician, or I am a police officer, or I am a scientist, or I am an author. you know, it's even the whole concept of the truth of who I am is I am. And from that space, I have a blank canvas. I can call in the character of which I choose to portray, or what I choose to express. And this is the whole purpose of that level of authority. So, I mean, I think one of the biggest fallacies that humanity has ever faced is the concept of authority over another. And this starts in the family structure. So parents claiming authority over their children. Sorry, guys. You're not the authority over your children in the sense that you own them. You are their custodians. You are the guides. They're guardians, if you will. To claim to be the authority is to claim to control and direct how their lives will play out. And so this ripples through into all aspects of being, all aspects of society. And I think like this is quite fascinating from a psychological perspective of how this ripples out within all different archetypical expressions within our society. And so where there's trauma within childhood, it then maps out as trauma projected into adulthood, where there is this dominance of authority over others. And it's the lack of authority within the self. So I don't have any children at this stage of my life, and if I was to ever bring some children into this is the way I would go about it, into this experience. I would do the absolute best I can to guide them to themselves, to learn who they are, and to write their own story, guided, of course, because we are all unique individuals and we all have something to share. So when we try and dictate and dominate how someone should be, if they're not actually causing any harm, we are censoring that which is the truth within them to actually be expressed and exist. I'm all about pro-choice, pro-life. So within my story, I choose not to write that into my script. So I think I might just leave it there for today. Thank you for listening, and have a think about this. Have a think about the areas of your life where you may be giving your authority away, where you may be giving your power away, where you may be letting others dictate to you how you can live your life. And I mean, this covers everything. This covers what you are allowed to think, what you are allowed to do, what you're allowed to eat, what you're allowed to experience. So on all levels. So, as an example, the war on drugs has got nothing to do with drugs. It's a war on consciousness. If it's a war on drugs, and it's not a war on your right to experience a particular experience, but you're allowed to have these other experiences, then why is alcohol legal? Why is tobacco legal? Why is coffee legal? Why are pharmaceuticals legal? These things cause harm, and they are legal because they are allowed within the story of the current narrative of who is currently running the show. So who is running the show? Who's choosing within your experience what you put into your body, what you think, what you experience, who you are? I can't be free in this reality, and I can't be a free sovereign being, a free sovereign man, if you can't be free and you can't be sovereign and you can't own all your choices of what you can and can't put into your body and what you can and can't experience and can and can't do. So, just as loose examples where, like the suggestion of an app to track us. Really? Well, they have actually told us we need to actually give them consent. So who really has the authority here? the irony in this, I was gonna wrap this up, but I'm just gonna run into some etymology here. The irony of this is the word government. Etymologically speaking, govern means to control. Ment comes from the Latin word mens, which means of the mind. So it literally means mind control. So I personally choose to be self-governing. And this is all part of the journey, because most of my life I have been governed. I have been dictated to by another authority other than myself on what I'm allowed to do and how I'm allowed to experience reality. And you know what? It's not right or wrong. It's just is what it is. And the reason why the government has got to the level that it has, not just within our country, but globally, is because we have collectively and individually allowed this to occur, because we've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten what our authority is and where it comes from. So as we awaken and we realize that on the fifth dimensional level, we are co-creating our own reality, then we are able to own that and actually claim back. Where the more we are focused in fear, the more we're going to attract fear. The more we're scared of, the more we're going to attract things to be scared of. The more we know who we are and we recognize our true essence within the ability of writing the story, of writing the script, the more we're able to actually focus on the things we wish to experience and find gratitude for that which we already have. And the more, this is the age-old secret, the more gratitude we find for that which we already have in this now moment, the more we'll attract things to be grateful for. So, today is a new day. No matter what day you watch this video, it is today. And this is a universal truth. So today, who are you? What are you going to choose to do? And who are you choosing to be? And the only thing I really feel called to make a point of is everything is allowed as long as there is no harm. No harm to yourself and no harm to others. So yeah, just operate from that space of love, starting with the self. Pick up the pen and write the script. You have a blank canvas. The memories that we carry through our whole life only exist. The past only exists in our memories. They only exist within us, within our thoughts. So why is it that we hold on to these things? Because they can keep that narrative flowing through. So what happens if you just find yourself here, now? What is here? What is now? Who are you in this now moment? Who you perceive yourself to be and who I perceive you to be and who everyone else perceives you to be are totally different people. So who are you? Who are you seeing yourself as? Who do you wish to be? It's not even who you wish to be, just be. I think the greatest challenge humanity faces in these times and in all times is to trust in self and trust in our own innate ability to rise above any challenge we have and adapt and to be the best version of ourselves that we can possibly be. So this is alchemy in action. This is, on the periodic table of elements, gold just happens to be AU. So to be truly authentic, to be the author, you need to be your authority or connect to the higher authority that is not outside of you but comes from within. Anyway, I'm going to end it there. Much love to you all. Have a beautiful day.